Hello my kobolds and creatures, and welcome back to Age of Scales, our vanilla Minecraft Let's Play series thing. Now, last episode we were in the middle of building Rock House, cobblestone, andesite and all that storage house, which is laid out somewhat fairly nicely. I did add on a little bit of a side room at this point, added in the pillars, sort of got an idea for the rest of these pillars, sort of moved a few, added a few, but it's all looking pretty nice. We even made sure that it wasn't floating and brought the cobblestone down to the floor, and with this new section I've also done that off camera and noticed that there is a bit of a miss bit there that needs fixing. Also between episodes did a bit of level grinding, so now we've got an efficiency breaking pickaxe on us. That means I don't have to use my diamond axe yet until we get a few more enchantments set up, a few more diamonds and things. Now let's get into building, because there's a big decision that needs to be made. All our buildings so far are filling the same palette. We have deep slate roofs, birch oak and strip birch oak and normal oak. Those are what are, I think I just stumbled the words there. Let's keep going. They're what we're using so far, and at this stage, if we don't start adding more materials, we're going to have to stick with the palette we've made. So I think we need to add a pop more colour and not go too crazy just yet, but kind of add a few extra bits. So I'm thinking we're still going to keep the oak pillars. I think that's going to be consistent in all the buildings, but the in-between space that we've used mostly with the birch, we need to replace that with something that feels similar but isn't the same. I've got a few options I've been thinking of. We've got wool, because we have our wool farm, our sheep farm, but also that spider spawner that we have is making a heap of string that we can convert into wool. Another option is diorite, because it looks close enough to birch, and we're still sticking to the kind of monochrome palette, just adding a few options. Now, bone blocks are interesting because we don't really have a good source to really, farm them up. But at the same time, I'm really a fan of bone blocks. They just look nice. So it is going to be a balance between, do we use bone blocks because they look the nicest, or do we use wool because it's much easier to get a hold of? And you know what, I actually don't mind the wool that much. That's not bad. That is going to be a decision I'm going to have to try and come up with in like the next 10 seconds, because we need to start on this building. And I'm going to say now that diorite is out of the question at this point. It might have its uses, but that's not here. So what am I going to do? Another thing I was thinking of though is roofs. We have these nice black roofs and I do like them, but again, too much of the same and every build is going to sort of blend together. So I was thinking we keep the outer trim exactly the same with solid blocks, but the inner section we might try spruce and some oak logs, because I think that those black strips on the barrel are going to actually go nicely with the deep slate, and so they're going to feel a bit more connected. But we're going to need some slabs, so we go slabs, and maybe some trapdoors if we feel the need for them. And yeah, the roofs, there's a plan with that. You know what, rather than trying to figure out the walls, let's get in these last few pillars, put on a roof, and hopefully by then I can make up an idea on which material I like more. Yeah, that is a plan. I'm going to get started on that. There's no need for a time lapse. We did that last episode. We're going to do a quick wipe. Alright, so we have our pillars now in place. They are looking mighty fine, if I do say so myself. So we're still sticking with the original plan. We're having oak pillars, but now there's a bit more depth, a bit more shape to them. This sticky out part, they're a little lower than the rest of them, but I think it looks nice. And having these curves sort of frame the rest of the wall. I think that's gonna really improve the look of the build overall. Also, I have come to a decision. We're using wool. It's easier to get, and I could like blend in some other stuff going up the way. I could just use some grey wool or whatever I feel sort of adds a bit more to the palette. And that's before I get in and start putting greeblies and other bits and pieces in between on front, like the others where we've got the cobblestone walls and bits and pieces. We're going to start filling those up in the middle. I just thought I'd come in, show you the progress so far, and think about what our next step is. I just noticed there's no stairs on this piece, so I'll have to get that fixed as well. You know what, I did all this off camera, but this next step is probably going to take most of the episode. So, rather than just doing another quick wipe, let's do what I like doing most. Let's cue some music and get started on a time lapse. So, as it turns out, Minecraft's just updated to 1.5, and that's good. We've got some more features. That's a nice thing. Sadly though, that means replay mod is currently out of commission, so I'm gonna have a problem doing any third-person time lapses for the time being. Gonna have to try and find a workaround. Probably have to do a few wipes and things. I think what I'm gonna do for this episode is try and experiment with a different idea. So I can talk, and I can just have a bit of commentary as I start building up the walls in segments, just adding in screenshots here and there as we build up the whites of the walls, bit by bit. Then it's onto the roof. We're going to start placing in the front area, and then begin filling in the middle sections bit by bit, adding the barrels and slabs as we need to, and make sure it's more of a domed shape rather than the pointed we've got in the past. This is a warehouse after all, so we can experiment and do something different. And that means that with all those cuts and edits, we can go from a partially finished pile of pillars to a completed, or at least mostly boxed out, rock house. Alright, we are back, and there's been a few changes to the plan. I guess you should always do the commentary after you've done the build and not before, because our roof is not how we described it. Made a few decisions. I was going to keep the pointed shape, because we're going to have to change them. We have to change number words. Oh no, we're keeping that. I had to change the material to andesite because the wood was blending in too much with all the oak. So I thought andesite. Well, I was originally thinking tuff, but that's not actually in this update. So we're gonna have to use andesite, which doesn't look too bad. I think it works well enough with the other builds, so we're gonna stick with it. But it's Thursday and tomorrow is upload day, and this build is no way near completion. It is taken a lot longer than I thought. I mean, that's all the andesite I have, and we've used it all up, and that's like what, a quarter of the build? It's not enough, and even if I was to try and farm it, I still wouldn't get it all finished in this one episode. Most of the time was spent getting the wool, because I had less wool than I thought I did. I went down to the spider spawner for like 2-3 days IRL trying to farm up all the materials. It was taking forever, and I don't know why. A lot of spiders just weren't dropping string. I think I need to get a looting sword at some point to kind of speed. Nope, that's a door. To speed the process along. So there's been a minor adjustment. I've kind of tidied this area up a little bit and turned this into a sheep pen so that I can farm some sheep as I'm waiting for spiders, along with doing a bit of fishing. But that is not what I'm down here for. I was just going to give you a look at that before we move on to a different project for a bit. Otherwise, that's all we're going to have done, and that probably wouldn't be enough for a full episode. So it's time to start speeding things along with improving our tools, because we have got diamond tools. We got a pickaxe and a shovel back at the house, which I'm going to grab now and start using. But clearly we need more diamonds, so it's time to mark out our diamond mine and get started on that. Let's just run a few errands. Ah, perfect. I've run out of coal, so I'm reduced to burning wood again and other things. Oh, as I was saying, completely out of andesite except for the bit of polish. I'll worry about organising all this off camera. I just want to grab my tools. I'll come back and sort all that out in a bit, as I actually want to do a little something first. Because if we're going to go down to iron level, we're probably going to not want to use up our diamond pickaxe, especially seeing as though we haven't got mending on it. So what I'm going to do first is... No, I'm not going to enchant that. I'm going to see if I can't just throw it. Efficiency 1. Well, that feels very pointless. Yep. Somewhat pointless, that one. I was about to walk away with the lapis. What I'm going to do is just combine the two pickaxes together, organise my chests in there, and look for a place to start this diamond mine. So we'll quickly do this. There we go. All fixed. Prepare the stuff, and I'll be back with you in a moment. Well, there we go. We have our tools on us. I've organised my storage a bit, got some lanterns and campfires so I can mark out this area properly. And I thought, as I'd go to the new location, I'd just show off a bit of the terraforming that's happened around the building. I did a bit off camera because it was a bit messy and I wanted to show off the little raised area a bit more. And this is my plan for where we're going to put this diamond mine. You come out the back of Rock House and there is this sort of pre-made cave already here that we can probably span into a little and figure out a way down. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, I don't think I properly mentioned I have a reasonable bow. So as I was doing all that grabbing all the spiders, I was sorting out a good bow, which is a good way of getting rid of creepers. I much prefer fighting with a bow. Still needs either infinity or mending on it. You know, if we get a good chicken cooker, we'll have more than enough feathers, and so we would probably prefer mending on that then, when we get there. Alright, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, pretty sure coal gives you extra when you use fortune on it. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to do a bit of caving on screen as we get situated. But when I start doing the strip mining in a bit, I'll just skip ahead on that because that can get a bit repetitive. But it also means that I can just stick some music on or an audiobook or something and just power through it. And I'll just see how much I can get done before I need to start editing the video out. I thought that was some moss then. At least with all this coal, we can start getting, you know, situated. That is a creeper. Oh, to have diamond armor soon so I'm not dying every episode. I have died so many times for so many reasons. And even my spider spawner kills me more than enough times. Oh, so that cave sort of does a bit of a loop. There's a hole there we can check out. I know there's one down here, but I think that's just a simple dead end, yeah. So if I just grab the coal here, ooh, don't drown. But what I want to do is the same I've done with the other mine, and not just make a hole in the ground, make it a bit more of a proper little mining site. So it looks like there's a proper mining operation going on. Come on, I need to fight against the water. There we go. And some iron for our trouble too. That's not too bad. No, that's it. I mean, that gives us some options on where we should go to start this. But I think we might just drain out this lake and have it there. Or we keep the lake, make a bridge, and start our mine on the far side. Again, we haven't really got time to building anything extra this session, but we can sort of map things out, have an idea of the future. Is there anything actually in here? Actually, I think that's just this. Yeah, it's just like a bit of terraforming hole that's been left from before. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to hop over to the other side and get started building up a bit of a space for a diamond mine. Just do that quickly. And again, I'll probably smooth this over, get some half slabs in here at some point. But I might do that like off camera between episodes. Oh, mouse. Give me mouse controls back. Let me give a little hang lamp. Let me refill my bucket. Might as well grab that one here. No, I didn't mean to empty the bucket. I think I'll just go in a little bit, start going down, and diamond level is quite low, and making a stairway is gonna be a bit tedious. So I might do one of those old drop style mine shafts where you just dig the 3 blocks, being careful not to fall into anything, and then ladder back up. And I'm pretty sure in my log house I have a ton of ladders. So let me get the mine put in, let me do some mining with the tools I have, and I'll get back to you with what haul I've got before we wrap up the episode. That sounds like a plan. And there we have it. A nice mining session of an hour or two. I should have kept the timer at that point, but hindsight's 2020, and I've done not too bad. Now here's our little haul of important supplies. Already a stack of diamonds, more coal to improve, so we can do some more mining, get some torches, more iron, so we can start doing more decorative stuff with iron, bit of gold, bit of copper, bit of lapis, redstone, slime balls, and I found a zombie spawner which had a new little disc inside. I should make a jukebox at some point so I can see what that sounds like, because I've not messed with music discs. Another addition are there's quite a significant amount of chests that have been added inside here. Now the layout might change, but at least now that these are here, whilst I'm mining between episodes, I can just bring in the cobble and whatever and start throwing them in chests. I do believe though this one is where I'm keeping the deep slate, which is going to be important as I do the trims and everything on houses. So that's rock house, not finished, but the foundations of it are sort of put in place, and now I can start working on some better tools and stick to diamond stuff a lot more. What I might do now then is take that off, and I can then put that all on an armor stand as our iron gear that have kept us going up until this point. We'll cut so that I appear back on spawn tower, because it's always been the nicest place, and we've got a little water spout below. So that's going to be today's. No, wait, I did that too early. Oh well. That's the end of the episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. I have been Kobold Queen. This has been Age of Scales, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Goodbye.